Good morning, guys, and welcome to Morning Show with me, Jim, where we talk about real estate, mortgages, and your life, the home that you're creating within that home that you are buying. And that's the most important part, right? Sorry, it is allergy season again, even though it's winter. So it's also the season to make New Year's resolutions. And I talked yesterday about the New Year's resolution to buy your first home. I think that's an awesome resolution, highly, highly attainable. Just take some focused effort. The other thing that's highly attainable is what if you want to get into real estate investing? I know a lot of people who have money in their 401ks, they have money in investments in the stock market, but they want to diversify and they want other assets, hard assets, something they can drive by and see once in a while and be like, there it is, that's mine. And the cash flows. So I've got this. You can do that too. It's easy, especially now. I mean, there's never been an easier time, in one sense. Well, maybe 2010, right? But no one had any money back then, or many of us didn't. Now what we have is equity in our homes. So one thing to consider is pulling a little bit of equity out of your home. That's your down payment on the next asset, on that investment property. And I have a lot of people doing that, and I think it's a fairly prudent thing to do, right? Well, I don't really want to do this. Investment property, yeah, I do. Investment property analyzer. So if you want to look at investment property, I've got this tool. It's an analyzer, and we can look at exactly what property you're looking at. Let's say you're looking at a $400,000 property in Charleston County, and you kind of have your eye on it, but you think it could really rent for $3,200 a month, right? We're going to account for a vacancy rate. You're going to have at least a 2-week turn time, if not a 4-week turn time, somewhere in that year to turn the property. Turn means one tenant moves out, you have to paint, you have to spruce the place up, deep clean, maybe new carpet, whatever it is, and then put the next tenant in there, right? So here's the yearly income. The cash flow, if it's 3,200, is pretty good. Let's just say it rent for 3,000 a month. It's still pretty good cash flow, $257 a month after everything. And if you're going to hold this property for 9 years, well, that's $112,000 you've added to cash flow. But let's see what that does after expenses and everything like that. So here's why you've added that, right? You've got the appreciation gain, and I put the forecasted appreciation for Charleston County is 5.5% per year. And because we're growing, right? And the amortization, not you, but the tenant is paying down that mortgage, and they pay it down by almost $38,000 over the 9 years. So you've got the remaining balance. You're also increasing rents. I put 6% per year. We can change that. We can, if you think it's going to be lesser or more, we can adjust that accordingly. Let's put 5% per year, just to have a number and see what that does. 5% per year. So basically, it just tells you at a glance what your forecasted returns are going to be on this investment property that you're looking at buying, right? So you've got total rental income over those 9 years of $381,000, and plus the appreciation of $250 almost. So you've got gross revenue of $630,000. Now, you've also got expenses, right? So you've got almost $300,000 of expenses, so it's about $330,000 of profit on, we put in here a 20% down payment, so that's an $80,000 investment. So your return on investment is 421%, or an AAR, annual, well, I can't even say it, average annual compound return of 20% per year, which again is phenomenal when you compare it to most anything you can do in the stock market, right? I say that because most financial planners that I know and work with, when they model something out, they'll model it out, I believe it's 579% return per year, and here you're looking at a 20% return per year. And if you said, well, I only want to hold it 7 years or maybe 5 years, it's still a nice return on investment, no matter how many years you end up holding that property. And if you want to go through this on a property that you're looking at, picking up as investment, I can walk through this with you. We'll do a Zoom call, but I can also just export it and send you the PDF so you have it in your file. You can kind of compare as you're underwriting meaning you're really digging into the numbers of the property and what the returns may be. Then you've got this as something you can compare and contrast against. And you're like, oh, I found a number that I think vacancies might be higher, or whatever the case may be. You've got this as a sounding board for your actual underwriting of that property. So if your goal is to buy your first or next investment property over the next year, yeah, count on the support and the tools that we have to help you in that decision and underwriting process in deciding if that property is the right property for you, right? And by the way, sometimes I'm talking to a lot of people who are self-employed, and they're like, I want to buy investment property, but I can legally write off a bunch of expenses on tax returns, so I don't show that much income on my tax returns to qualify for this home. I got you covered there too. That's called a cash flow investor loan. There's other names for it, but basically the property stands on its own and you can buy the property. You need assets. You need 20% down payment. You need at least 6 months reserves, meaning that payment times 6 in the bank that you don't bring to closing. So you have to have some assets for this loan. But what you don't have to have is verifiable income, because we don't, on that type of loan, cash flow investor loan, we don't put income on the application. We don't put your employment on the application. It's all about the property. It's all about the cash flow of the property. So if that's the thing that's holding you back from buying an investment property, it doesn't have to. We got you covered there too. It's specifically designed for self-employed buyers who want to diversify their income and pick up investment properties as well. Awesome. If I can help you get pre-approved for either loan or just run this cash flow analysis, hit me up. That's what we're here for. We're here to support your efforts in your investment property purchases as well.